Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Got your city administrator here because we're doing a council recap. That's right, your council recap from the June 10th meeting from Common Council. Chad, how you doing today?
I'm good, Jeremy. How are you doing today?
You still stole my colors. I'm going to say that right now. That's my shirt. That's me colors.
No, I'm sorry. Thank you for loaning them.
You're welcome. We're going to jump into, joke around a little bit because there's a little bit lighter agenda here. And we'll jump past certainly a lot of consent agenda items. So the next meeting's going to definitely have some stuff going on. But you may have noticed all the liquor license. It's the annual renewal for all of those. Yep. And they all had to be read into the record because I taped that meeting and got to, so they split the duties. The council split the duties on going back and forth on that. But what's happening with all of these? This annual.
So you must be referring to the public safety meeting where they had to read in all of those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so basically this is a annual, I believe annual, I think we do servers licenses on every 2 years for a renewal, but this is the annual liquor licenses that are provided through application process, and of course the appropriate city designated fees for their liquor license for restaurants, convenience stores, bars, anywhere where alcoholic beverages are going to be sold, obviously in accordance with state statutes and so forth. So those licenses all expire on June 30th. So every June we have a long list of approvals or renewals, and that's what you saw. So
You don't want to read each one of these?
No, I don't. I mean, there's quite a few. And, of course, there's different classes between A and B and those sorts of things.
We did get some clarification on B. Yeah. I think it was a bridal store that had it, and a B is like serving champagne at a certain amount of ounces. Who knew? Yeah. I learned something new every day. So there you go. All right, so moving down to Parks Commission, we have approval on a playground and a swing set structure at the Southdale Park. What's going on?
Yeah, so Southdale Park is a park in the Southdale neighborhood of the former town of Madison, which is now obviously part of the city of Fitchburg. And this is one of the first steps to make some investments into this park. We have done a notable amount of cleanup, so to speak, groundskeeping and those sorts of things. A new sign has gone into that park, but now we're starting to add some new amenities into the park. So this is the first purchase for that. We're looking at a couple of swing set playground type structures that will go in there. I believe one of the existing structures will need to be removed based upon the available space, but one of them is likely to stay there. So residents of the Southdale neighborhood are going to start to see some improvements with actual physical infrastructure, so to speak, in their park. And this is the first one.
And there are other plans coming to that park as well. So this is the start of I don't know, part one, if
others,
you will.
Yeah. There'll be other enhancements done there. I mean, we're still in the process of kind of finalizing what those look like. And there's been a number of great ideas offered. And we'll take a look at what those are and what the city's ability is to operate, maintain, and ultimately replace those if they are included as we finalize what else will be added to Southdale.
Fantastic. All right, moving on to Resource Conservation Commission and a resolution accepting the Organics Management Grant Award. Tell us what this is, or if it was postponed.
This was one of the two postponed items that we had, but this is ultimately a grant that was offered to the city that would allow us to look at organics management, which will, what the intent is at the farmers market, there would be a spot where folks could deposit their food scraps, for instance, for composting with the intent to keep those organic materials out of the trash.
Landfills and whatnot.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Exactly.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that one for coming back.
Yeah, that was postponed till the 24th, so
all right.
Next time we talk, Jeremy, about council recap, we'll go
Next
over
time
this.
I'll write down. I did write down possible postponement. I just never followed up with you on that.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, acceptance. Next resolution here is acceptance of the salt reduction grant. So we bought some things that go with this.
Yeah, I think if my recollection is correct, we utilized this grant to buy a scale that allows us to much more efficiently load our trucks during the wintertime when we're doing our winter highway maintenance and putting salt on those trucks. I'm told, I believe that this was a 15 or 20 minute process with a couple of people, and now we really only need one person in this scale. and it can be done in like 5 minutes or less. So that's definitely an efficiency thing. And there was some conversation at the council meeting last night, either that or right before it, from a couple of alders who had been part of another committee or commission meeting where this topic had been addressed, and talking about how smart, if you will, or the level of technology within the snowplow trucks these days, how they can drop a precisely measured amount of salt on our roadways based upon the type of precipitation that's coming down, based upon how heavy it's coming down, and based upon the speed of the truck at the time. So we are keenly aware of the environmental impact of salt, and also trying to balance that with the motoring public, if you will, and even walking to a certain degree and biking, our public's desire to get from point A to point B during inclement weather during the wintertime. But technology has come a long ways in that. It might be something, for you and your crew to have a conversation with Mark Hodel to really see some of that, and maybe you already have, for all I know.
You got that right out of here. We follow along with them, and one thing that stands out to me too is the pre-treatment of the salt. They're spraying the salt too ahead of time. So there's treatments before even the salt even hits the road that happens. Then as it's going along, they're spraying it. It's pretty cool stuff. It saves money. It's saving the environment, and it's a smarter way of salting, which again sounds counterintuitive, but it's the right approach certainly on a lot of fronts. So pretty cool stuff there. Next agenda item was from the Healthy Neighborhoods Committee was our strategic plan. This item also was postponed now till July 22nd.
Yep, there's still some work going on that. Staff capacity has limited the ability for this to come back to Common Council. So we're looking at July 22nd as the next opportunity.
Fantastic. Moving down to standing committees, we have one here with the finance, and I'm going to read this as it's written because I'm not sure that I totally understand it myself here, so I'm looking forward to a breakdown. But amending the 2025 capital budget for reallocation of 2024 debt. I hope you were paying attention.
I was, although I would also offer right from the get-go that if anyone has more specific questions or wants to have more specific information, they reach out to our finance director, Misty Dodge, and or look at the memo that was included in the packet that outlines this as well. But basically what happens when we do large capital projects, in 2024, for instance, we borrowed money to begin those projects or do those projects. We have switched from doing borrowing through bonds issuance through doing notes that allows us some more flexibility. And there is a federal regulation, if you will, that doesn't allow us to earn excessive interest on money while it's waiting to be deployed, which makes sense. It's called an arbitrage payment if we have to, pay back some of that money. So this was done, obviously this resolution was done as a strategy to avoid an arbitrage payment to the federal government. So basically, we borrowed money in 2024 to do a couple of projects. I think namely this was the start of the police facility project. However, due to some delays, that money was not deployed for that project. So what this does is takes that money in a dollar for dollar scenario and replaces levy money that was going to be used for other projects, and there were 6 other projects that are listed in there. I think 3 or 4 of them are road-related projects, and a couple of them were fire engines or fire department vehicles. So instead of using tax levy money for those particular projects, we're replacing that with this borrowed money right now.
Gotcha.
And then that levy money that was going to be used for those projects is being transferred over to the police facility project. So no budgets were changed. It's just a matter of where the money was coming from and how it's being deployed. But this is all in a strategy to avoid having to pay what's called an arbitrage payment to the federal government.
Sounds like you don't want to pay a penalty, even though it's not called a penalty, but you're basically avoiding those additional costs, so to speak,
exactly.
by not acting. So,
yeah, if we were to do nothing, this would actually cost our taxpayers more money. We're talking tens of thousands is what would be the higher expense.
Glad that has happened. Yep. All right, cool. Well, we'll keep you posted on any other changes on that. Next Common Council meeting, next meeting is Committee of the Whole on June 18th. The next Common Council meeting is June 24th. And just looking ahead into July, will we be skipping a meeting in July?
Yeah.
Usually during the summer we do.
There has become a customary customary practice of the Common Council to cancel the first meeting in July. So I think that was planned to be July 8th. That meeting has been canceled, so there will be just the one meeting in July, and that'll occur on the fourth Tuesday, which I think is July 22nd.
We'll remind you again because we're going to get together one more time before then. But either way, Chad, appreciate the time as always. Thank you.
Thank you.